Right. Well, welcome everybody again to the Friday chat. For those of you who are joining for the first time, although I don't know if anybody is, or Danny maybe. I am James Stevenson, and this is Empower Amsterdam's weekly online chat event that we've been doing ever since lockdown, and it's part of our mission, Empower Amsterdam mission, to support unemployed internationals in their job search. So we try and pick a different topic each week that's going to help you develop your career in times of COVID and afterwards. So our goal for empowerment.org at the beginning of the year was to build community. And then after COVID-19 started, then everybody went into lockdown and we had to put everything online. But actually, it's been a really big help to extend our community past only the local environment of Amsterdam and local towns. And now we get people from all over Holland and further. So that's really nice. Today's topic is presented by Stefania Garosio. Sorry, Stefania. She's one of our volunteer coaches. She's been working with us for quite a while now, and she has her own coaching clients too. So I'm going to hand it over to Stefania now to take over the facilitation. Okay?
Hi. Hi there, everybody. Hi. Wow, it's nice. It's a really big group today. Ooh, exciting. I'm really happy to welcome you today and this afternoon to this really online community chat. We are going today to keep us busy with the subject positive thinking, and with the title or with the appointment, I want to title Embrace Your Negative Thoughts or Welcome Your Negative Thoughts. What we are going to do today is I'm going to introduce myself shortly. I'm going to tell you more about this basic idea of positive thinking and welcome your negative thoughts. And then we are going to have a couple of exercises. I think it's better to say, first of all, I'm trying to do my best in order to manage our big group. And if I don't see everybody raising hands or chatting and so on, I don't help here, and otherwise just be patient and repeat the request. I think we will manage to work together. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see. You're breaking up.
Stefania, I'm sorry, the sound's really poor at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that you need to connect to your telephone or something, because I think your internet's not strong enough.
Okay. Right. Then I would say just give me a second, please. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You all know the rules of the games. So if you would like to raise your hands, you can. If you want to share in the chat, your chat will be read, and we will try to manage all your people in the best way. Otherwise, if you have any question, put it please in the chat, and we will read it. Right. Okay. I was just telling you how I would like to proceed today. I'm going to introduce myself shortly. I'm going to introduce then the idea of positive thinking and how to include, embrace your negative thoughts in this positive thinking. I'm going to show you a really well-known model, the iceberg model, and to tell you or to share with you my knowledge about values and beliefs. And after that, we have the time and the chance to do a couple of exercises, which I would like to invite you to do first alone, and then to share with your peers. You will get 5 minutes time to read the instruction of the exercises, to look into them, and then you will put in breakout rooms for 15 minutes. Mostly we are going to have groups of 3 persons, and then you are invited and you're asked to share what you have worked out with your peers. I would like to underline this aspect of sharing. Within Empower Amsterdam, we find out, or we just experience that sharing is a really big energy source. So if you share what you've worked out for yourself, you get 2 more feedbacks from your peers. So please, you are not obliged for sure, but you are invited to, and use the energy of the little groups and of our big group. There's enough there for us. Right. This is what I wanted to say. Okay, I would say let's start. A short introduction of myself. My name is Stefania Garosio. I'm originally from Italy. I moved to Germany, Berlin when I was 20. And after 14 years, I moved to Amsterdam, where I have been living now for 15 years. I think the most interesting things at the moment about my experience are that at the beginning of the 90s, I started to work with some groups following the Adler, that psychology, which is mostly based about yourself, individual psychology is also called, and with the point of being put in the right social area environment for yourself. Every individual have the most comfortable social area in its, it better is being put in. When I moved to Amsterdam, I got a chance to get closer and to get know the young psychology, and the fascinating part for me in this was the unconscious part of the psychology of the theory. And it was more about looking under what is not said, or looking underlying of what the behavior of people is and what the people say. Right. After this, I got in touch with the course of miracle, the popular notice from
Stefania, you're breaking up a little bit again. Can you just check your microphone is plugged in properly?
And I'm there.
That's better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Right. I think it's not that important. Okay, I mean, this is what I think it would be interesting to show with you and to share with you those interests of mine. I'm trying to come back. I'm sorry.
Stefania, your mic's off now. You need to put your mic back on. Okay.
Okay.
And do you want to share your screen now, or you?
I'm going to do it right now. I just would like to introduce the idea of the positive thinking and of the embrace your negative thoughts, or welcome your negative thoughts. When I heard about the subject positive thinking, I got fascinated by this, and at the same time I didn't get an allergy on this, but I just was thinking, right, positive thinking is a fantastic source, sure. But if I listen to what clients are saying or are telling me during, for example, this Corona period, they just say that not every day and every moment of the day is for them possible to keep their positive thinking. They might manage to do it at the beginning of the day or in the afternoon, but how do you manage all the day to keep the positive thinking? And I was asking myself, right, what's the point? How can you develop positive thinking if if you maybe just think that you don't think negatively, you just have positive thoughts, and there's not problem actually with me, or the affirmation exercise I have been doing now for a while, it just works for a certain period or for a certain goals. Right, and then I started to think at the opposite of this idea and thinking, right, but what do we do with thoughts at all? Or what do we do with negative thoughts maybe? Are they not usable? Are not they necessary for us? And in my opinion, they are. They are necessary and they are useful. And I just would like to show you how I do understand it. I do think that the fact of if thoughts are positive or negative just depends on the light of the energy on them, if it's switched on or off. And I'm going to explain what I mean. Behind every thought, there are a belief, which is moving around a value. This means that if the thought is maybe more or less negative, it's maybe worthwhile to go to look at the belief which is underlying this, and that's to check, okay, what does belief say to me? At this point, I would like to show with you this presentation. I'm just trying to let's manage. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Right. And the model I am referring to is this iceberg model. Okay, let's see if I manage. Okay, why not? Yeah. This iceberg model has been developed by Edward T. Hall. He used it at the beginning for it's trying to make a scientist study about culture, and he just discovered that underwater, so everything what has not been seen is the most motivating and most important part of what we see. Now, this model I'm showing you now belongs to the behavior approach. And why the behavior approach? The behavior approach put the focus on the behavior, how you see on the upper part of the image. So what is seeable, what is observable. And so we see the behavior, and as consequence, we do see the results. Right, on the invisible part, you see that the behaviors have been influenced by emotions, which at the earth turn, they are influenced by the thinking. Right, and here when you start to go deep, we see values and beliefs. I would like to underline, this is a behavior model. This means, it doesn't mean that behavior are more important than values. I will show you right now what's the difference between them. It's just that if I'm busy with a goal, the behavior which I take over in order to reach this result are more important than they influence my results more than the emotions. And emotion and thinking are underwater. What I mean by this is beliefs are influencing the behaviors much more than values. In order to influence behaviors, they can influence either thinking or emotions. This depends on the system, on individual system of every person. The result is that beliefs will influence either first thinking and emotions, or first emotion and then thinking. And then this influence, we will see it back in the behavior and in the results. I hope I could explain to you what I mean. Right. At the moment, at this point, it's quite important, in my opinion, to share the difference between values and beliefs. Let's see. Right. Okay, beliefs are assumptions we hold to be true. Beliefs are contextual. They raise from learned experiences and which are resulting from cultural and environment situation we face, right? A big example I had of this was with friends of mine saying, euthanasia is good. If euthanasia is good, is a belief, because it's an assumption we hold to be true. And the contrary, values are abstract concepts. They are not contextual, and they are not based on the information coming from the past. And in this case, past doesn't mean their own past experience, but the past experience of the cultural and cultural environment I'm in, right? Values are stable and long-lasting. They don't change that often and that much as beliefs. Right, so as I just said, euthanasia is good, is a belief, this is a belief. Which value is behind or underlying this belief? It will be the value of life, or the value of life and death, or the value of the freedom of choice. I may choose how to end my life. Right, so those are the values and not beliefs. So freedom, freedom of choice, life and death. And belief in this case could be, for example, euthanasia is good, right? As I'm convinced and I believe that, or the experience and studies showed that beliefs absolutely influence behavior. As I said, it depends on the kind of system you are as an individual. It's possible that beliefs first influence your emotion, which influence the thinking and then the behavior. It's in this context at the moment, it doesn't really matter. We want to see, or we want to put our focus on the fact that beliefs go to influence the thoughts. And this is what I meant at the beginning. Thoughts can be positive or negative, just depends on which belief is underlying, is behind them. And this belief will give the color of the light, switch on or switch off on those thoughts. At this time, beliefs, they are just not independent, but they go around, they are satellites on planets, they go around value. So you could say value are abstract concepts, beliefs are the concrete application of values in the reality, which you will see in the behavior, for example, of people. Right. Okay, said that, I think it would be a good idea if we just go to just experience this, just make some exercises. The exercises are quite simple and right, I think they are simple and they can help just to experience what I've just said. Nothing special and nothing more. Let's see, I would like to share this with you. I'm sorry. Are you seeing this? I don't know.
No, you've stopped sharing your screen. You just need to share your screen again.
Thank you. I don't know if I don't see. Okay, thank you. Let's see, share screen. Okay, the first exercise I would like to suggest to you is, it's not the second one, right? Sorry. Okay, yes, we did it right. I would like to invite you to this exercise. I would say, recall 3 of all the thoughts you have had in the last 2 hours. 3 thoughts, any kind of thoughts. Write them down. And then, next step would be, next to each thought, note and write down any kind of adjective or words which corresponds to a color or a free association of idea. And this adjective or free association of ideas should reflect your feeling about this thought, right? Next to each adjective, please try to find the underlying belief. After that, choose one of them, those thoughts, and share this with your peers. As said, if you use the power and the energy of the group, you will be able to get more results from your exercise. And you will see this slide in the breakout rooms, so you don't need to write anything. You can follow it also in the room. I would like maybe to show you some examples. I just wrote down in order to show you what I mean. Is this? No, I'm really sorry. This is one. Right. My first thought could be, go to the toilet before the session starts. Okay, I wrote it down. My first association or adjective was gray. And I conclude that my belief behind this is actually physical needs are boring. I don't actually, yeah, they are boring, right? The second thought I would give you as example is, I didn't manage to buy everything out of my shopping list, right? Which is my association, free association of ideas, dark clouds, damned, I didn't manage. Okay, if I try to look or to find the belief behind these thoughts, it turns out that this is, the belief is, it's great to get things done. And that's the reason because I feel damned once I didn't manage to buy everything out of my shopping list. And the last example, yeah, I even don't know if we need it. It doesn't matter. You will see it in the presentation. Right. So now, starting from now, I'm just checking the time. I would like to ask you to start with the first exercise. And just let's recap, please, the basic ideas. We have said beliefs influence deeply behavior. They do it, in our case, be influencing thoughts and thinking, right? But beliefs, they do not exist alone by their own, but they are echo, this happened, okay, I'm sorry. They just are linked to values. So, and we said the difference between beliefs and values are abstract concepts. And around one abstract concept, I see it like a planet and a satellite is around, but you please see it as you want. So around on one value, you can have a lot, infinite number of beliefs, right? So the important thing for you and everybody of us is just to find the beliefs, our beliefs, and the value underlying, the underlying value, in order to be aware, okay, why do I believe this? Or I don't know if the question is why, but to which value is this belief linked, right? And it is the example I gave about euthanasia, and euthanasia is good. Okay, it's good because the value behind this is choice of freedom, life, death, and as we want. Right, now I would like to ask you if you want to follow the exercise number 2. And in this, I would ask you to take the list of the beliefs linked to the 3 original thoughts, not the reverse, but the first 3 beliefs. You know, the first 3 thoughts and the 4 beliefs. Choose one of them and find the underlying value. Right, in this case would be choice of freedom of choice, life or death, in the case of the euthanasia. Right, and then I would like you to not visualize it, but just be aware that values are always positive. And then share this with your peers. This is one part of the exercise. The second part of the exercise is, if you find your value and you believe you come from, right? I would like to ask you now to just choose another belief which is not that much different from the one you are coming from, similar, parallel, but anyhow positive and believable enough for you. So this would be, you would take the underlying value and then you would actively, consciously recreate your own beliefs, and not taking the beliefs you have taken from the social environment you are from. In this way, you would be able to maintain your own value and to apply it into your own beliefs, which works for you, which is positive and believable enough. Right. As the previous exercise, from the belief, you will be able to formulate the corresponding thoughts. And then if you write it down and you want to share with your peers, please. Okay.
Could I just say there's a question in the chat from Renee?
Yeah.
Could you give an example?
Sure. An example would be, we can take this of euthanasia. Euthanasia is good, right? This is a belief. The value behind this, it would be freedom of choice or life. Okay, it means if I see this belief, freedom of choice, and then I do realize the belief euthanasia is a good thing for the social environment I live in or I come from, but I realize actually it's for me, it's too scary, or actually it's for me, I don't know, it's against God's idea, something like that, then I can recreate the belief linked to this, to the choice of freedom of choice, and saying, for example, oh, about this belief, I think about this value, my belief could be dying on a natural process is fine. Okay? I hope this is clear.